Mindset, a daily dose of practical wit and wisdom with a professional educator and trainer, Amazon best-selling author, United States Marine, television and radio host, Paul G. Markle. Each episode will focus on positive and productive ways to strengthen your mindset and help you improve your relationships, career goals, and overall well-being. Please welcome your host, Paul G. Markle.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been paying attention, if you've been following along, you'll know that today is number 30. That's right. It's segment number 30 in our morning mindset book study. Yes, indeed. So that means it's the last one. Yes, I understand that some days have 31 days and some days or months have 31, some months have 30. And we don't want to talk about February, do we? No. But today is it. And if you have just joined us for the very first time, you can go back to the beginning. Just take today's episode and subtract 30 and begin and go one a day. All right. And if you don't have the book, you can get that on Amazon as a paperback or Kindle. And remember that if you are looking to help or assist someone, or maybe you have someone in your life that you really feel could benefit from the information that we provide here and from the topics that we talk about all the time, it might be a good idea to go to Amazon and pick up a copy of this book to gift to them. Christmas season is coming up. I would suggest that. All right, today the topic is to succeed, help others be successful. This advice was given to me when I was in my 20s, in my early to mid-20s. I guess it was my mid-20s or so. I shelled out the cash and I went to a Zig Ziglar motivation business seminar. Yeah, when I was living in Florida, Zig Ziglar, he used to do motivational tours. And he would bring professional speakers along with him. And I got to sit in on one of those. I went and I don't remember how many speakers there were, 4 or 5 or something like that. And of course, Zig Ziglar was the big guy. He was the number one dude. And he's left us since, but he had a lot of good advice and he inspired and motivated a lot of people in the business world and in their personal lives. And one of the things that was mentioned, or the concepts that was discussed about being successful, was in order to be successful, in order to succeed, you should help others to be successful. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's kind of common sense, or yeah, whatever, Paul, that sounds good, or what have you. But actually, if you think about it, many people become so focused, they get so focused on the end goal of success that they often, whether they feel like it or they just behave like it, they feel or behave as if anyone else achieving or being successful somehow detracts or takes away from them or their success. And it's easy to fall into that trap. It's easy to fall into there's only, so many dollars in the jar, or it's a finite amount of pie and only so many people get a piece of the pie. And once the pie's gone, it's all gone. That's the way that many modern progressives look at our economy. They look at the economy and they say, well, there's only so many consumer dollars to be spent. And so we have to divide those up amongst whomever. But the fact of the matter is, if you help others to be successful, you will indeed lead yourself down the road of success. And I have found, I took that advice to heart and I applied it, or I attempted to apply it for 25 plus years while I was working as a professional writer. And review, and in addition to writing about, things like the Morning Mindset book and what have you, and the previous books, I used to review a lot of products for the hunting and shooting sports and law enforcement and outdoor world. Basically, I was a cop, so I did cop stuff. I was a shooter. I was a Marine. I was a hunter. I did all that stuff. And so I would encounter a lot of products. not just guns, not just ammo, but a lot of other things from small business owners, whether it was holsters or widgets or gadgets or whatever. And one of my goals when I would get a hold of something and someone would send me a product to test and evaluate was to give it a genuine, real, honest evaluation. Not just to look at it or take a picture of it or whatever, but to actually take it out to the field to actually use it. Now, not all of the products that I was given were necessarily ready for prime time or were great ideas. And sometimes I would have to tell people, hey, this is I see what track you're on. I dig what you're squealing here, but I think you should change this, or this part needs to be improved, or this part right here, or this didn't work. I tried to get this to work. It didn't work, and so on and so forth. And because I was trying to help them be successful by giving them an honest review, not just saying, oh, hey, man, you're new, hey, Emperor, your new clothes are beautiful. I would say, hey, you should probably change this, or this didn't work, or this or this. And sometimes they would say, thank you. We appreciate your evaluation. We appreciate your honesty. And we're going to make those improvements or what have you. And then other times they didn't. There were other times that my honest reviews were not appreciated. That they basically, what they told me in so many words was, well, we already think this product is perfect. And we sent it to you so that you could look at it, touch it, and tell everyone else in the world that it's perfect too. And if you don't think it's perfect, well, forget you, buddy. We'll find someone else who will. And that's fine. Maybe they did. Maybe they did find someone else who thought it was a good idea or was perfect or whatever. But now that time has gone by, and you cannot see this in a short period of time. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, everyone is so conditioned to instant gratification, getting everything, right exactly when you want it and so forth. But you can't do that with success, and you can't view success through the telescope of one day. You can't take a look after a week or two and say, hey, look what I've achieved, or look what they've achieved, or look at the success. It takes time. Now, obviously, it's a journey. It's a road that you want to be on. But now that I'm 20, 30 years down the road, and I can take a look at those companies and so forth, I can see those that actually, took my advice to heart or didn't or what have you. I've seen them grow. I've seen some of them come and some of them fail. But I'm very, very, there were some small companies that when I started out were really like mom and pop working out of a garage or a basement companies. And now 5, 6, 10 years later, these companies have grown and they're not mom and pop working out of a basement or a garage anymore. Now they have, actual facilities. And they employ 10, 20, 30. One business in particular that when I started working with them about 8 years ago or so, maybe a little more, about 8 years ago, they had 3 people, the owner, the owner's wife, and one other person. And that's who was working for the company. And now today, there's 40 people working for that company. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel gratified to see their success. And I feel proud of myself that I had faith in them and that we worked together and that I did whatever was my part. I mean, obviously they had a product and they sold it, but I tried to help them succeed. And it's when companies are large, it's easy for large companies to think that they don't need one person to help them succeed. And maybe they don't. Ford Motor Company or Dodge or whatever, they don't need Paul Markle to endorse them and just help them sell cars. And anybody will buy their cars or what have you. But sometimes you may be in a position where you can help someone to succeed. Now, you may be, just starting out, or you say, I'm not a boss of anything, Paul. Man, I'm not a boss of anything. I don't have a business. I can't help others succeed. You probably can. There may be an opportunity, maybe far away or maybe in the very near future, where you will be able to do something, just a little something, to help someone succeed. And when you do that, you're actually helping yourself. You're actually learning. You can, if you work with other people, if you try and help them succeed, you're actually learning how to help yourself succeed as well. So, and it helps you not to focus so much on your own small, many times people cannot see the mistakes that they're making because they're too close to it. They can't see ways for improvement because they're way too close. Whereas others can step in from the outside and they can see with a fresh set of eyes, hey, maybe if you change this and did a little this right here, it'd be better. And you're like, oh man, I never thought of that. Often if you help other people succeed, maybe if you help other people if you help them to see the areas for improvement that they couldn't see because they're too close, that can help you to do the exact same thing. Or maybe they can help you to do the exact same thing. So I know Zig Ziglar has gone to his great reward, and many of you know his name and some of you don't, and some of you are Googling it right now. But probably the greatest piece of advice that I ever got from Zig Ziglar, and it was 25 years or so, I guess, was if you want to succeed yourself, be there and help other people to be successful. And that is the end of the Morning Mindset book study. Thank you very much for being here with me and listening. And today's episode was a little bit longer, but I think you're worth it. I am your host, Paul Markle. I'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you for spending time with us today. To get show notes, submit a topic request, and for more from your host, Paul G. Markle, visit morningmindsetpodcast.com. That's morningmindsetpodcast.com. Please leave a review for this podcast on your favorite podcast player. We appreciate your time and effort, and we look forward to reading your honest feedback.